Yo, 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 welcome back to the Further Your Lifestyle podcast, conversations on lifestyle, passions, and hustles. My name's Chris Fairlong. I am your host, and I'm super excited to be back here having the conversation with you. Episode 86 today, and we're talking about balanced life with expectations. Question for you. Have you ever been in the position where you reflected on that situation and it has taken you by surprise? That it was just something that you had expected that could never ever happen? Right? Or maybe you've heard the saying of don't count your dollars until you have banked them. Or nothing is set in stone until it is. Look, coming fresh off my previous episode 85, where we talked about experience in life and how to leverage learnings and that experience, expectations have a huge role to play in how we formulate and live life. That's my opinion. And it all comes with, what I believe, with a fine balance of expecting the good, the bad, and the ugly. So one thing that I all think that we need to be reality slapped with, and yes, I'm coining that, is we need to be slapped in the face and woken up and get a real good chunk of reality checks, is we need to stop trying to keep up with other people's expectations. And what I mean by this is there's a society influence of what is the norm. Whether we see it and agree with it and know that it's happening, sometimes it could be subconsciously, but there is this expectation, unstated expectation from society and the pressures around us in all that we do, whether it's at work or whether it's family, whether it's with friends, or just what we see out in the world. You see, when we can be rid of this pressure of trying to live up to how everyone is unstatingly suggesting what we need to be doing, we can be and move more freely. We need to set our own expectations, and we also need to manage our own expectations. Now, I understand this is easier said than done, and that's why we're talking about it. That's why I'm bringing it up as a conversation, because it's something that I think we all need to be doing and being more aware of. Setting expectations and how we do this changes as we experience more things in our life. Because you don't know what you don't know, but you can then set expectations based on what you do know. You see, as kids, we are surprised very quickly when things don't go our way. But we are quick to learn the reality of we won't always get what we want as we get older. And this is through, of course, generalized teachings of yes and no, usually from our parents or our guardians. And this will vary depending on your upbringing. But as we then venture further into our own life, we are then expected, I guess, to start to take, more responsibility, take accountability of our own life, and to start to make decisions for ourselves, which is great. It's called adulting. Now, in these moments, we need to make decisions based off expectations, or risks, rewards, calculations, and maybe sometimes we just wing it. We wing it, risk it for the biscuit, right? But we always expect an outcome. Sometimes we don't think about the outcome, but there is an outcome that is expected. Now, sometimes we will have a streak of things going as we planned, or hoped, or as expected, and we don't have to worry about it. We think nonetheless, we think it's all going to be good. But then there will be times when things don't go as planned or as expected. Now, this could land in a positive or a negative way, right? I guess, things going as expected or not as expected can, work in our favor or not, right? Regardless, the outcomes don't always land where we expect. Again, as we grow up and as we learn more, we grow wiser. As I said, we learn more and we move deeper into living and doing. And expectations should start to become something we manage more and more and we're more aware of. Now, the way I like to do this personally is through scenario setting and outcome projection. Playing out in my mind, I guess, some scenarios of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sometimes things will go well, and we love that. Other times it's just won't be the answer we expected. We won't get what we expected. But other times it will be a whole other level in terms of it's not a yes or a no, but it's a turn of events, something that we obviously cannot predict. And it takes a huge turn of events and takes us by surprise. It could be good or bad. Now, as I just said, obviously we cannot predict everything and we can't plan for every solution, but we can be enabled by our minds to be comfortable with knowing that things may not go as we expected. Things may not go as planned, and there could be a whole other series of outcomes. Now, this helps us process at a high level that there could be a good, there could be a bad, and there could be an ugly in advance. Just enough to help us lower our expectations a good amount, and to help give us a bit of an even playing field, knowing that we could land in one of three different ways. This way, when we are making decisions or taking actions, we know that it might swing one of three different ways. We may want door 1, but we might get door 2 or 3. It's not the time to panic or freak out, but it enables us to progress onwards knowing that we might have had this situation arise, and it meant we just have to pivot and we have to adjust and take the alternative challenge or path that arises. Now, of course, as I said, you cannot plan for everything, but it gives us a bit more wiggle room. It gives us some flexibility. Now, I'm going to stop right here for a second. I just want to take a little sidestep. If you enjoy these episodes and these insights and these conversations, two things for you. One, have you thought about sharing this with someone that you think may resonate with this, that you think might actually get a kick out of this, right? Share it with them. Or if you enjoyed this episode, please share it on your socials. That would mean the absolute world to me. The other thing is, if you do enjoy these episodes and these kind of conversations and little insights, I have a weekly newsletter that I send out at 9 p.m. every Monday, and I would love for you to be part of it. Basically, I just share weekly life reflects, learnings, and just how things are going. And if that sounds interesting to you, you can sign up over at www.clfurlong, that's FURLONG.com. Jump over there, all the details are there, and I would hope and I would love to see you in that email each week. Let's dive back into the pod. So coming back about setting expectations and, the good, the bad, the ugly, a classic example of this is when we leave on a trip for a holiday. Firstly, we expect and we assume things will be smooth sailing. In the back of our minds, we may have an inkling that, what if things don't play out? So it helps us be a little bit more prepared for the unexpected, especially in the last couple of years with everything that happened with COVID. But never do we just be comfortable or expect that our, plane may crash, or we may get a flat tire on the way to the airport, or we may jam our finger in the car door, or we may get a phone call to learn a close friend has passed. Now, this is all very, very negative and very intense situations, but the reality is we never know what will happen and when it will happen. And we cannot be prepared for these instances. No way. These are the things that come out left field, and these are the things that are impossible to scenario plan. And these are the moments that are ugly. These are the moments which we're knocked off our feet and, we have a bit of shock and horror and it's a big surprise. Now, in these moments, we have a choice to embrace the roller coaster or fight back. Now, fighting back would be the similar process of trying to calm a bull with a red flag. We may be doing something expecting to get a better result or a better outcome, but we may just add more friction or more fuel to the fire, right? Sometimes we need to let go a little. We need to buckle up for a ride of the challenges and lessons and learnings and pivots to help us come out as a stronger, smarter. And that may mean taking a step back, being emotional, being vulnerable, and dealing with whatever we need to deal with. It's a season. It's a time where we have to grow. Now, I know you may think, and you may be asking, this is all easy said and done. And look, this is the biggest question I get. It's like, it's easy for you to say that. Well, it's not, because we all have our own things that we all go through. But I don't know what you're going through, but you don't always know what I'm going through either. But that's not the point. The point here is, this is true. We can't be in someone else's shoes. I'm not in your shoes and you're not in mine. I'm not saying that, with a quick listen to this podcast that you'll have balance automatically and all your expectation setting will be solved. What I'm saying is you now have the chance to manage your expectations. You now have a better understanding to be more conscious and to be aware of the decisions and actions that you're taking based on the expectation setting and managing that you were doing. It's not about being prepared for every situation, right? I said that you cannot be prepared for every situation. It's about being prepared to have a mindset where you can pivot, where you can adjust and take a detour or a side quest to help us get to where we want to be or where you want to be. It'd be stupid of us to expect that, if we didn't have these bumps, we wouldn't get the experience in life. Bumps are like experiences. They give us a chance to grow, and we wouldn't be able to take the lessons and apply them to further to help us set up and understand expectations better, but also to make better decisions going forward. It's a catch-22, right? You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't expect to go through life, smooth sailing and not learn anything and be able to make better decisions. You need to go through life, learn lots, experience a lot, go through bumps, have some, reality slaps to enable us to then be able to set the expectations going forward to make better decisions, to experience things differently, and to be willing to learn and adapt. It changes your perspective, it changes your mindset of a negative versus a positive mindset, and it will help you live life better. It will help further your lifestyle. Really do appreciate you. If you do have any questions, any comments, thoughts, whatever it may be, you can connect with us via Instagram at Further Your Lifestyle or jump over at Twitter at Further Your Life. You can also leave a comment on YouTube over on the YouTube version of this podcast. Of course, if you want to get in touch with me, please get in touch with me. I'm more than happy to continue the conversation. I love having these conversations with you, and it would mean the world to me to be able to continue having that conversation with you. Really do appreciate you being here. You have a wonderful day. Cheers. Now, if you didn't know, we do have the podcast merch, and this is with a key focus of enamel pins. Now, if you haven't checked these out, make sure you do, because the intent of these are really just to be a small token and a reminder for you to charge on, to push on, and to further your lifestyle. Whether it is a gift for someone else to encourage them, or maybe to inspire them, or maybe it's a way to motivate yourself, or you can simply just make a purchase to simply support the podcast, which would be greatly appreciated. We do also have some sweaters and some long tees, so make sure you check it out. Link in the description and in the show notes. Really do appreciate it. Cheers.